Okay. So, hi, my name is Jackie Schlemp, and I prefer she, her, and hers pronouns. And I'm going to be your student physical therapist today. And I just wanted to start off by asking you what you would like me to call you and what pronouns you would like me to use.
Joseph is fine, and he and him is just great.
Awesome. And is it okay if I take some notes while we talk?
Sure.
Thank you. All right. So, Joseph, what brings you into physical therapy today?
Well, I came in because my doctor said he was going to send me to physical therapy because I've had some falls,
Okay.
and he said reason I'm falling is because I'm old, you know, and he said, like that's what happens when you get old. But he said he would send me to physical therapy. He said maybe they have a magic wand, but you're still old, and that's what happens when you get old. So that's why I'm here, because of the falls.
Okay. Could you tell me a little bit more about these falls? How many have you had?
Well, I had my last one about 6 months ago, but before that, I've had a couple where I've fallen over things. Maybe could be my foot. I don't know. At my house. And then once I fell on the bottom stair when I was going downstairs from
Mm,
my apartment, um, and it just felt like, when my knee bent, that my leg wasn't strong enough, and I fell over. And then I think I fall because, my hamstrings are not as loose as they used to be,
mm,
and reaching for things and all that gets you out of balance. I feel like really tight. And so that's throwing off things, because they're not what they used to be, and
yeah.
so I think I'm leaning over, and only my big head is leaning over, and then that throws your whole balance off.
Hmm. So you mentioned that it could be your foot or your hamstrings. Or is that what you think is the main issue?
I don't know. I feel tight, I feel tight, and probably, my legs are not as strong as they used to be,
Hmm.
and like my doctor says, I guess I am getting older. He just seems to think that that's what it is, and that's just part of being old.
Yeah. Well, Joseph, what do you think? Do you think that age is a major factor in this, or do you think it's more just that you're feeling a little tighter than you used to, and that that's something that we could work on?
Well, I know there's a difference between something breaking and something rusting away. you know,
Hmm.
Something broken usually can be fixed. I don't want to rust away, that's for sure. So I would just like to think that and believe that you can always get stronger or stay strong. Always work on being healthier rather than just accepting things the way it is and rust away. I don't want to rust away.
Yeah, Joseph, that's a great perspective to have, and I think that's a really important thing to think about. That there's not this inevitable decline that we have. I think there's a myth between a lot of people that as we age, we just decline and that's it, and there's nothing we can do. But I love what I heard you say of there's always something we can do. There's always something that we can do to make ourselves stronger, and more adapt through life. So I really like that you have that perspective.
Thank you.
So when you have fallen, have you had any severe injuries with it at all? Any fractures?
Mm, Um, I once I had fallen and I hurt my hip, but I've recovered from that.
Okay, all right. So nothing serious that we need to be concerned about right now.
No.
Okay, great. And Joseph, when do you feel like these falls are affecting your daily activities? Do you feel like you're changing the way you move because of them?
I don't think so. Inside my place, I walk with my head down, to make sure that I'm not tripping on something. I try to pick stuff up, but other than that, it's not like I'm that active.
Hmm.
I walk around my house. I don't drive, so it's not like I'm really out that much.
Hmm. Are there any activities that you used to do that you would like to get back to?
Well, I used to, I was fairly active in my church, but that's kind of closed up, because of the virus right now. And so I'm just kind of waiting like everybody else,
Yeah.
for things to open up. And until that, I'm looking at TV,
Okay.
you know, yeah,
All right, so I hear that church is really important to you, and that's definitely something that we can get back to
yeah,
with our strengthening program that I would love to work on with you. Like you told me, there's always something we can do to get stronger, and that's definitely something I would love to work on with you. Do like a strength and balance program, and I've seen a lot of patients your age who this has really helped, especially with reducing falls. So is this something that you would like to work on?
yeah, very much so.
Okay, that's great to hear. That's a great start. And so I would love to hear a little bit about your living situation and your support system. Do you live with anyone at home?
No, um, it's just me, and I live in a one-bedroom apartment. I have a grown son, um, who's been, he's a professional person, so he's really busy. But he'll come by and take me to the grocery store or bring some things. Um, and then if there are other things that I have to do, I get on his calendar. I have to get on his calendar, and that works. If I get on his calendar, and then he finds time.
Just because he's so busy?
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like he's your main source of transportation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And um, is that something that it works out well for you guys, or is that something that you would like to address or find some resources to change?
Well, that would be nice if a nice Ferrari was outside, for me. But like, right, it is what it is.
Mhm.
I don't have a car, and so that's just,
Okay.
what I have to put up with.
Yeah. Well, so lastly, what I would like to discuss with you, Joseph, is just I noticed when you came in today that there are some what look like bruises on your upper arm and your neck. Is that something you could tell me about? How did you get those?
Um, um, I don't remember.
You don't remember? Just because they're on the upper part of your arm and right here on the side, and it looks like they're kind of circular, as if someone were maybe grabbing you a little too hard. Is that something that sounds familiar at all?
It could be that, when my son just didn't want me to fall.
So he was there and tried to reach out and help you.
Yeah.
Okay. Has this happened a few times?
Yeah.
Okay. So Joseph, because they are leaving marks, that does leave me a little bit concerned. And I do want to make sure that you are feeling safe at home above all else. Are you feeling safe at home with your son?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. He just, because he's really a good person, and I know that, even though, he's grown, that there's still some little guy in him, and there's still, I know his heart still hurts because I divorced his mom, and I know that pain is still there, you
Yeah.
know, and sometimes maybe, the little guy in him kind of comes out, that pain,
Yeah.
so that's all it is.
I hear that you feel for your son, but I do want to reiterate that something like that is not your fault, and it doesn't excuse actions like that. And it is something that I am a little concerned about. And so I just want to let you know that I'm here to support you, and I want to make sure that you're feeling safe above all else. So I do have to share this information with some people, but it's purely just to keep you safe at home. Okay.
Okay. Because I don't want the police involved, because I don't want them to shoot him.
They won't shoot him. We'll make sure that it's safe. I think it's really important that you are feeling comfortable in your home.
Well, I'm more comfortable with him than I am with the police.
Okay. All right. That's something that maybe we can talk about at a later visit.
Okay.
Above all else, I just want you to understand that I'm here for you, and I want to make sure that you're feeling safe. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And I think we are out of time.
All right.
Sorry,
Okay.
I went over. All
Time
right.
goes really fast, doesn't it?
I know it does. I was like, we could keep talking forever.
I know. Um, so we have this feedback,
Yeah, I'd love
and
to hear your thoughts.
so I'll just I'll read this and go through it really fast, and then maybe I can actually verbalize some things to
Okay.
you. Um, Making me feel at ease, excellent. Letting me tell my story, excellent. Really listening. Um, I'm gonna give you very good. Being interested in me as a whole person, excellent. Fully understanding my concerns, I'll say very good. Showing care and compassion, excellent. Being positive, excellent. Explaining things clearly, excellent. Helping me to take control, empowering, said very good. And making a plan of action with me, I said very good. Um, so first of all, I think what I really like is that your professionalism comes through in a very conversational manner. And to me, that's a real plus because I know I'm not dealing with an ATM machine. This an actual person. So the ability to let your personality come through, your professionalism is just really great with me. I sense the empathy and the concern, that you had. I love the affirmation that you gave me about explaining what I thought about PT, and a lot of times you would always give that affirmation. I felt validated when I would say something and you would go, oh yeah, that's really good. So I felt validated as a person, and to kind of throw off that, just getting old for old sake is a myth, and that you didn't buy into that. I felt really good. And you repeated my words a lot. A lot of reflection saying where I would say always something we can do. So repeating my words is really great. One thing that that you may not have the scope of depth of understanding, but for me as a Black person, the authorities or whoever these people are going to get involved, and I kind of mentioned I don't want the police to come, and the current climate,
Yeah.
especially if you're a person of color. So I'm not really comfortable with that. So you might explain just what that process is, because I might want the physicalness to stop, but not at the expense of the cops coming in and killing my son.
Yeah.
And so I don't want them. I don't really want to deal with the cops. So if we're talking about counselors, just kind of explain that process so that I won't just jump to, oh no, God, I don't want the cops,
Right.
shooting my
Yeah.
son.
That's
And
really
I think that a person of color would probably be more sensitive, to, we're going to have somebody come in and talk. I don't want anybody coming in to talk, so that's something that you just add to your wisdom, box. And then with the sake with closing, just give something specific as to what we're going to agree to do. So like, well, on Thursday we're going to come in and we're going to start doing this, blah 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 blah, and then that's something really specific. So I understand what those next steps are going to be. and all of that. So overall, I love what you do. Again, I think that on my phrase, this peopleness. I love the fact that with all the knowledge that you have, that it comes across as a person, and your obligation. I get a sense that you really care about me, rather than just addressing a list of questions. You have these questions that you need this information you need to get so you can do your job. I felt like however long it was going to take, you were going to take that time so that you got to know me. So it was an excellent job, and it would be easy for me to say that you're my therapist rather than the therapist. So
I
thank you.
really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Joseph.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great. I don't know what to say to people, youngsters. When you have a Zoom or you have a Zoom time.
I know. We're in the Zoom black hole right now.
We are. We are. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
All right. And so then I think I get a few minutes, right, to give feedback too.
Yes, please.
Jackie, that was just phenomenal. I feel like I learned so much by watching you. The first thing that struck me is just how natural you are. And, you just immediately have this personable, easy to open up to sense about you. And I could just see throughout the interview that he felt really comfortable. So it was just really, really fun to watch.
Thanks. I appreciate
you definitely hit all of the oars, using open-ended questions kind of woven throughout to keep things moving. I loved your affirmation about when you said, like, that's such a great perspective that you have about aging being a myth. You could tell that just really, like you said, made him feel really validated and heard. Reflections were really strong in summaries. You hit all of the oars, you were rolling with resistance, you were doing all of the things. I don't honestly know if I have anything very constructive to add.
I feel
yeah, maybe. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, like, time wise is really challenging because there's so many things I want to bring up, and I just feel like I could go off on each little bit for a while, and I was like, I haven't even addressed the big thing yet, and we have 1 minute to go. So
yeah, and I think that's really hard when you only have 8 minutes. But I think that in an actual session with a patient where you do have 45 minutes, where you do have 50 minutes, it gives you enough time that you can really dig in where you need to dig in and not feel rushed hitting the big issues. Kind of going off what Joseph was saying, just thinking about how you could explain the mandatory reporting process. It might be beneficial just to mention maybe that it's a social worker who would be involved rather than a police officer. Or even just saying they might not get involved, but it's just kind of making sure that the appropriate people know that this situation potentially exists, and if things ever do escalate, they're able to help.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I just feel like I maybe don't have enough experience with the mandatory reporting, so I didn't know even like how to make him feel better. But yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, and I think that's just something like, with experience, you get to know a little bit more about who are the parties involved and what the process will look like. You're amazing.
Thanks, I appreciate that. That's really nice. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna stop this recording.